Welcome back to World Gone Weird, everyone. It's another week, isn't it? Seems things just keep getting weirder. You almost get used to it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that just this morning. It's like the bar for weird gets raised every single day. What used to be shocking is now just Tuesday.
That's actually a really good point. I was just reading about some of the new initiatives to help people with anxiety. They are interesting, I think.
Anxiety? Honey, at this point, if you're not anxious, you're clearly not paying attention. I mean, the world is basically one giant anxiety-inducing carnival ride. Let's buckle up and scream.
Well, speaking of things that might make you scream, I saw a rather interesting article today. Apparently, UMass researchers have discovered that death and money are the two key factors determining whether a world event gets news coverage.
Death and money? No kidding. I mean, what else is new? That's been the story of humanity since, well, forever.
Well, it's a bit cynical, isn't it? But I suppose, statistically speaking, it makes sense. It's a rather sad thing. I saw a list of music festivals this week. That might be a good time.
Oh, music festivals. Perfect distraction from the impending doom. I'm picturing Woodstock, but with everyone live streaming their existential crises.
The study also said that the GDP of the country and trade volume with the US are important factors. Basically, if a poor country has a disaster, it doesn't matter as much as if a rich country does, and if we don't trade with them, even less.
Okay, that's a little harsh, but probably true. I mean, the media is a business, right? They have to cater to what people are interested in, and let's be honest, people are more interested in things that affect them directly, or that they can relate to.
Yes, but I think that's the problem. We should be more interested in things that happen to people regardless of where they are. It's all interconnected, isn't it? Maybe that's why there's anxiety. We are missing the heart.
Interconnected? Sure, like how my crippling student loan debt is interconnected with some hedge fund manager's third vacation home. It's all a beautiful tapestry of inequality.
It does raise the question of ethical journalism, doesn't it? Is it the media's responsibility to inform the public about all important events, or just the ones that will get them the most clicks? Is this not where algorithms could do harm?
Well, I think there's a balance. You can't expect them to cover everything. There's just too much going on. But yeah, there should be some kind of ethical standard, some sense of responsibility to report on things that are truly important, even if they're not the most sensational.
Exactly. And that's where we come in, right? To try and find those stories, to highlight the things that might be overlooked, because they don't fit the algorithm or they don't involve enough death and money.
So, we're basically the ethical dumpster divers of news? Wonderful. Makes me feel so glamorous.
I saw a study maybe a year or two ago analyzing news headlines. It was amazing what wording they used. Some were incredibly passive. The example that struck me was a child death in Gaza. They would say a child was killed, no actor, no agent doing the killing, just passively the child died.
Right? And framing is everything, right? It's how you present the information. It can completely change how people perceive it.
It's almost subliminal. It's like the information is designed to not be jarring, but also to gloss over the reality of what happened.
It's like they're trying to desensitize us. Oh, another dead kid? Must be Tuesday. Pass the coffee.
Exactly. It's dehumanizing, isn't it? It turns people into statistics, into data points, and that makes it easier to ignore their suffering.
And that kind of brings us back to the UMass study, right? The media focuses on death and money, and the way they report on it is also influenced by those factors. It's a vicious cycle.
A vicious cycle we need to break. How? By demanding better, more ethical journalism. By supporting independent media outlets that are committed to telling the whole story, not just the sensational parts. I was reading about the music industry. Should we get back to that?
Yes. Distract me from the existential dread. Tell me about sparkly outfits and overpriced tickets.
Well, okay then. Looking at music festivals, it is kind of amazing how many festivals there are. Montreux Jazz Festival, Lollapalooza, they are all still around. Also, there is a Global Citizen Festival, Amazonia. That sounds new.
Amazonia? That's interesting. I wonder what the carbon footprint is of flying all those people, all that equipment, into the Amazon rainforest for a music festival. Seems kind of counterintuitive.
That's actually a really valid point. I would hope that they're taking steps to offset their carbon emissions and minimize their impact on the environment. But you're right, it's something to consider.
I'm sure they'll plant like 3 trees and call it a day. We save the Amazon, one guitar solo at a time.
Yeah, the idea of carbon offsetting is pretty complex. You see a lot of it these days, but you don't have a reliable measure of its success. How long does it take to grow a tree? What if there is a forest fire? So much is unpredictable. I don't think we've done nearly enough scientific measurement to rely on them.
Exactly. It's like buying indulgences in the Middle Ages. You pay for your sins, and then you can go back to sinning. Doesn't really solve the problem, does it?
The intention may be good. Maybe it is the start of doing something, maybe a start to creating a positive impact, but the full picture needs to be considered. It has to be.
Intention? Bless your heart. Corporations have one intention: profit. They'll slap a sustainable label on anything if it sells more tickets. It's all smoke and mirrors, darling.
Which brings us back to the power of money in media, doesn't it? A music festival, especially one with a good cause attached, can generate a lot of positive press, even if the actual impact is minimal.
Right? It's all about the optics. Make it look good and people will buy it. They won't ask too many questions.
Which means we as consumers and citizens need to be asking those questions. We need to be critical of the information we're receiving, and we need to hold corporations and governments accountable for their actions.
Accountable? In this economy? Good luck with that. I'm pretty sure corporations have more rights than actual people these days. We're basically living in corporate states of America.
A lot of these festivals on this list have music, and it's interesting what musicians are saying. A lot of them have really powerful messages, more than the people who are running the venues. This also has a big impact on the economy.
Yeah, well, musicians have always been voices of dissent, right? Speaking truth to power, although sometimes it feels like they're just preaching to the choir.
But that choir needs to be energized, right? It needs to be reminded of its power. Music can be a powerful tool for social change.
Or, a really catchy tune you can dance to while the world burns. Either way.
It's true that we need to do more than just dance. We need to organize. But going back to that article about the UMass study, I am seeing some patterns.
Patterns? What do you mean?
Well, if those researchers are right, then the media will almost ignore things as long as it is not a huge disaster, unless they are related to trade. So the best way to make sure a country is cared about in the world is to engage them economically.
Yes, but under what terms are they engaging? Are those agreements and associations helping the world, or only benefiting us, at the expense of the people there?
That's the question, isn't it? It's always about who's getting the short end of the stick. Spoiler alert, it's usually not the corporations.
Right, and that kind of gets back to the music festivals too, right? Are they actually helping the communities they're in, or are they just exploiting them for profit?
It is complex because music and art are ways to bring people together, and that creates opportunities to share knowledge.
It's kind of funny that we started with death and money are what gets the news, and now we are at art is what brings people together. Those are pretty different ends of the spectrum.
That's the world we live in, baby. A constant tug of war between the beautiful and the grotesque. It's exhausting, frankly. Pass me the champagne.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why people are so anxious, right? Because they're bombarded with all this conflicting information, all these competing narratives. It's hard to know what to believe.
That's where critical thinking comes in. That's where we need to be teaching our children how to evaluate information, how to question assumptions, how to see through the spin.
I would add to that we need to see if the data matches the statements. I feel that there is a severe lack of measurement. You see claims, but where are the data points to back it up?
Critical thinking? In this day and age? That's adorable. People are too busy doom scrolling to engage their brains.
Okay, that's a little cynical, even for you. People are capable of critical thinking. They just need to be given the tools and the motivation.
And the space to do it. We need to create environments where people feel safe to ask questions, to challenge assumptions, to disagree respectfully.
Safe spaces for critical thought, I like that, but safe spaces can be echo chambers too. How do we ensure viewpoint diversity?
Viewpoint diversity? On the internet? You're asking for a miracle. The internet is basically a giant screaming match between people who are convinced they're right.
Okay, it's not easy, but it's possible. It requires a conscious effort to seek out different perspectives, to engage with people who disagree with you, to listen more than you talk.
And to remember that we're all human beings with our own experiences, our own biases, our own fears. We need to approach each other with empathy and understanding.
Empathy, understanding. Those are practically extinct species these days. But sure, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya while the planet melts. Makes perfect sense.
It is difficult, but isn't empathy just recognizing that other people's emotions are real and as important to them as yours are to you?
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to do here, right? To understand the different perspectives, to explore the complexities of these issues, to find common ground.
To make the world a little less weird, one conversation at a time. I do think there's hope. The new generation cares about many of these issues.
Hope? That's a dangerous word. Makes you think things might actually get better. I prefer to keep my expectations low. That way, I'm never disappointed. But, good luck with all that hope stuff.
Well, regardless, thanks to everyone for listening to another episode. Until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and try to stay sane.
And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps us reach more people, even if they're just doom scrolling.
And remember, even in the face of all the weirdness, there's always something to be grateful for. Even if it's just that you made it through another day.
Cheers to that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go binge watch some reality TV and try to forget everything we just talked about.